Hello YouTube, I think I'm live now. StreamYard has a tendency of putting me live straight away. My name is Andrew. I run the Money Mental UK YouTube channel that you're currently watching. I am a full-time civil servant, part-time eBay reseller, and a man who suffers mental health issues. So I guess you could say I'm a mental health advocate. For those new to the channel, my channel is quite informal, quite relaxed. I don't do editing or anything like that, but you're more than welcome to come and watch the videos. Today I will be talking about the subject of suicidal thoughts. So this may contain triggers, so I just want to say that straight up front. Hi Mike, how are you? You okay? So obviously, do watch this video with caution if it's something you experienced before. So we've got a few people coming in and joining us, so I'll eat some cereal while I just wait a minute for people to join us. Hopefully the notifications are going out. I ain't so good at the minute, to be honest, but we'll come on tonight. Hi George, how are you, George? You okay? The YouTube notifications are going out then, are they, folks? I'm subscribed to my own channel purely so I can get notifications. I never get them half the time, and I assume it's for other people as well. Say whether it's live or not. It's just the joys of YouTube. Kappa, hello, how are you? I remember you've told me who you are before, and you're a recent subscriber. I hope all is well with you. You always get mine. There you go, George. Excellent. So yeah, looks like it's going out then. Yeah. Hi, Nicola. Yeah, this is a mental health line. Broken the camera again. Oh, come on. I've got to stop doing this, breaking this camera. Start cam. There we go, we're back. Sorry about that, folks. I knocked the camera and it goes off. So I used to do a Monday night mental where I talked regularly about mental health issues, but that got sort of overtaken by doing Cellar Lads on a Monday, so I've not been able to do one for a while. So I thought I'd jump on and do one. Today's subject is quite a pertinent one. I thought I'd talk about dealing with suicidal thoughts. Again, for those of you new to sort of the mental health talks, what we normally do is have a sort of group discussion around the subject, and have a look on the internet, see what sort of guidance or support is out there, and just generally chat about it. So today's subject I have picked is suicidal thoughts and dealing with those. Purely selfishly, I'm struggling with suicidal thoughts at the moment. I have been the last sort of probably since Monday, really. So what are on now, Wednesday? So the last couple of days, been struggling badly with him. Not to the extent that I don't consider acting them or making plans to act on them or anything like that. That's sort of a different. Hi, Devon Twins. How are you? That's sort of a different stage, different level, as it were. But it's concerning. Let's put it that way. So I thought I would have a look on the internet, talk to you guys, Money Mental subscribers, about potential ways to deal with these, and see what information is out there and available. So I can do hi DBG, how are you? So I can do a screen. Hi Danny, how are you? So I can do a screeny share thingy, and show you sort of the stuff we're looking at. If I can work out how to do that on the StreamYard, there's a share screen button. Share screening is easiest with two monitors, apparently. But yeah, I've got two monitors on a laptop. What kind of technology do. Hi Ian, how are you? That these StreamYard people think I've got. So I think I've got the screen on screen. I do, yeah. Cheers, Mike. Thanks for that, mate. I know you've had your struggles yourself. So yeah, do appreciate that. Hi, Kirsten. No worries. Thanks, Kirsten. You take care, matey. Thanks for popping in. If you're ruining me watch time now, Kirsten, I'll get a spike going downwards because you can't now. I'm only joking. I'm only winding you up. So a lot on Google dealing with suicidal thoughts. We can see there something that pops up straight away is a number for the Samaritans, which is really good. I've spoken to them before in the past when. So I've talked before about I had a problem with gambling addiction and whatever. I lost a lot of money as a result of it, and ended up feeling suicidal as a result. And speaking to Samaritans at that time really did help me actually. I spoke to them twice. Second time wasn't so good. I didn't really connect with the person I spoke to, I don't think. But the first time was certainly spoke to somebody who really helped me when I was in a very difficult and vulnerable position. Far more vulnerable than I am now. So it's definitely, if you are struggling, it's late at night, you're isolated or whatever, they're there 24 hours, 7 days a week. It can be hard to talk, reach out for help and make that first step. But once you've done it, it does get better. I promise you it does. So anyway, so what information we got here? We've got help for suicidal thoughts in the NHS. Always trust the NHS, they're reliable chaps, to be fair. Ambulance is never far away. So their first thing here, if you're feeling like you want to die, it's important to tell someone. Absolutely. Help and support is available right now if you need it. You don't have to struggle with difficult feelings alone. Hi BCP, welcome to the suicide talk. I do remember the last time I tried to do a talk on suicidal thoughts, and the dog was playing with a ball and never got to have it. We never got to have a conversation because he was just going mental with his ball. Forgotten about that. So anyway, hopefully the screen share is coming up. Let me know if it's not working, you can't see stuff, etc. I'm just flicking back between the chat and this because I can't have both on the same screen. I think you can still see my arms waving around when I talk. Anyway, so the NHS saying, like I just said before, phone a helpline. You can call the Samaritans. There's also the campaign against living miserably, which I've not heard against for men, 5 p.m. to midnight. And they've also got a web chat option, which again could be good for people who perhaps struggle with talking like I am now, verbally to people. That can be difficult. Too much stuff to get rid of before you pop. Do I have any family support? Yeah, I do. I do. To be honest, I don't really like talking to them about it because I don't. It made them worry. They start worrying about me. That'll add to me stress and make me more stressed and more sort of worried and unhappy or whatever. I don't know. That unhappy is not the word, but it'll add to that sort of bit. Well, not burden. That's not the word either. I'm not good with words. But they're there. I know they're there, but I don't want to worry them. I guess is what I'm saying. And there's nothing for them to worry about. To the point. We've got these papyrus people as well for people under 35. I've just turned 35. Useless to me. Then ageists. Ageist, Pete, it's the first time I could call people ageist. Childline, of course, brilliant charity. The Silver Line. Talk to someone you trust. Let family or friends know what's going on for you. They'll be able to offer support and help keep you safe. No right or wrong way to talk about suicidal feelings. Just starting a conversation is what's important. Fair enough. I don't know. I try that sometimes. I struggle. I feel I struggle. It may not be true that I do, but I think sometimes I struggle to say what's going on in my head, and I feel sometimes when I do, like I'm making things all about me as well, and I'm sort of not coming across in the right way or the way I want to. And that sort of makes me feel worse as well. So, hey, it's a vicious circle at times. Here's what it is. Because you got your GP, you call 111, mental health crisis team. I've seen them a few times. If your life is in danger, A&E, where you will get assessed straight away. To be fair, they're very good in there. So they've got some tips for coping right now here. Trying not to think about the future, just focus on getting through today. That's what I do. I know a lot of people, I was talking about this earlier in the Money Mental Support Group, which is a support group for resellers who suffer with mental health issues. You can find that on Facebook. Do feel free to join if you do struggle with mental health issues yourself. It's open to all resellers, as I say, who struggle with mental health, and there are quite a few of us who do. I'm certainly not the only one. Says, yeah, stay away from drugs and alcohol. Absolutely. I was in London yesterday. I knew I was struggling. I was spiraling badly on the train to London last night. So I went, checked into my hotel, got a pizza in, stayed in the hotel room, watching the telly, talking to people on the Facebook and whatnot. Didn't go to, hi Peter, hi Rach. Didn't go to Wetherspoons, even though it was only down the road. And as we know, I like my visits to Wetherspoons. But yeah, just generally sort of focused on just relaxing, chilling, and just doing, just having a sort of evening in. And another 60 years ago, to be joking, ain't you? But 60, I'll be 95 then. If I make it to 100, I'd be amazed. But yeah. So yeah, no Wetherspoons for me. Last night. Be around other people. Yeah. It's a difficult one for me as well. That is, with my Asperger's, my autism, sometimes it's difficult for me to be around other people, and they can actually increase my stress levels. Not intentionally or anything like that. It's just like, I was so grateful that the train I was on home today the carriage was practically empty, because I wouldn't have been able to cope if there'd been lots of people in there talking and whatever. It would have just been too much for me. So, going out, public place, bad, but I do need to maybe go out and do more things, but I probably don't. And obviously spending time with the pet, as we know, Batty is ace. Says you're worried about someone else, you're worried about someone trying to get them to talk to you, ask open-ended questions like, how do you feel about it? Because, it's not just myself, struggles, other people as well. Don't worry about having the answers, just listening to what someone has to say and taking it seriously can be more helpful. So that's what the NHS is saying anyway. It seems very sensible sort of advice. Working in Samaritans can be a charity involved. They must have to counsel it. Yeah, I can imagine they probably get a fair level of stress in that. So what else we got? We got Mind here. It's a mental health charity here in the UK. Appreciate some of my American subscribers may not be familiar with it, but it's a mental health charity in the UK. Actually, one of the places quite a lot of resellers source from. They have charity shops that we visit as well. So they got quite a bit here now. Getting help in an emergency. If you don't feel you can keep yourself right now, seek immediate help. And again, they're talking about visiting A&E. If you do need support right now but don't want to go to A&E, because that's a big step, which could be overwhelming. Again, Samaritans, GP, contact the NHS, outlines, local crisis team. There's also a yellow I need urgent help button here. So we click on that. This tool is designed to help and manage your situation. All right, that's complicated. I can't be bothered with complicated things. Anything that involves me pressing buttons is too complicated, but that option is there. My cousin committed suicide. She phoned my mum the night before. Mum booked a flight to get her home. Someone decides to die. And I've gone ahead. No, I haven't spot yet. Yeah, there is. If it's almost one of those things where if you're in a position where you're able to talk about it, as I am now, and doing that, you're probably going to be okay, because you are in a way tackling that, and it's giving you the confidence to go through. If you've reached a stage where it's just so bad, then you just can't even talk about it. That's really bad. Then, and yeah, obviously it's a killer, isn't it? It's very sad. It's very sad, that is, Nicola. It's very, very sad. I'm sorry for that. That is not good. Not good at all. But that's why I have this channel. That's why I have the Money Mental support group, etc. That's why I try and encourage us to talk and tackle these things, and myself to do it, even when it's hard. Peter's saying, understand that with the being around other people, it's the communication side of things. Yeah, I absolutely hear you there, Peter. It's when I don't know, it's for you, Peter, but for me, when I say something and it just doesn't get interpreted how I wanted it to, and then I get anxious about it or upset or whatever, or somebody says something to me as well and I can't interpret or process it or what they're saying, and I end up going into like a meltdown. And that happened actually that is happening at the moment. Somebody said something to me the other day that I didn't understand. I still don't understand it. I've asked her about it to explain it, and it didn't. They just sort of ignored that. So I'm in pretty close to going into a meltdown about that as well. But that, yeah, I can't. I don't know what more to do on that, really. But yeah, being able to meet people at meetups and my local bowls club, etc. I'll put that on the screen for us. Is key for me. So definitely. We learn skills, don't we? Ultimately, and the more we have the opportunity to practice that skill, the better we get there, and the more comfortable we feel doing it and using it, I guess. And I like to think for people with Asperger's, autism, etc., we can only work off experiences that have happened to us in the past or for us in the past. If we're confronted with a new situation that we've not been in before, it's very difficult, very, very difficult, because we don't have a framework to fall back on. But when we've built a framework in place, we're in a situation, if something has happened before, we can draw on, well, that's happened to me before. How did I deal with it? What happened? I did this, and that led to X happening. And so we do that again. And if it works again, that's good. If it doesn't, it's carnage. But yeah. So anyway, back to mind. So yeah, obviously that their urgent help button thing, which confuses me. They've got different pages. So what are suicidal feelings? To try and give a bit more context about it, suicide is the act of intentionally taking your own life. Suicidal feelings can range from being preoccupied by abstract thoughts about ending your life, and that's where I am at the minute. That's what I'm struggling with at the moment, is this one here, being preoccupied by abstract thoughts about ending your life. I had it yesterday and it gave me a panic attack, and that just made it even worse. I do not feel that people would be better off without me at all. That's not a thought that's in my head, but I have had that before. I have felt that worthless before, So I do understand it. I can relate to what that feels like, and it is the worst feeling ever, really, when your self-esteem in such like hits that low. And then thinking about methods of suicide, yeah, definitely. It was dangerous for me being on the tube and the train today, to be honest, but managed. Or making clear plans to take your own life, and that for me is when the real danger hits. If you get that level where you're making plans, that is definitely, I mean, hopefully before then you're able to reach out and support, but if you're at this stage here, go to A&E. Go to A&E, phone the Samaritans, whatever. Do this stuff that it has to do up here. Definitely do that. And if you are feeling suicidal, you might be scared or confused, and it's very scary and very confusing. Oh, no worries, Nicola. Take care. So yeah, very, very scary, very confusing. I used to not say a lot. I didn't know what people would think. To stay, still have meltdowns very occasionally. Don't understand things. Meeting new people is key. Yeah, that's right. Same here, Peter. Absolutely, what you're saying there, Peter. That's absolutely it for me. I had that. If I have a meltdown, and it's horrible as well, because it's usually I'm ending in a meltdown at somebody who's close to me because they've said or done something that I can't understand and I can't process it, and I'm trying to, and I can't do it, and then I end up saying I'm doing something that I really regret, and end in a bad position. I'm trying to avoid everyone else at the minute. So yeah, it's badness, but yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, thumbs up. Thank you, Peter. I feel uncomfortable and conscious in large crowds as well as in confined spaces. George says, I feel vulnerable, not on a claustrophobic level, but I'll try to. I know many people who say that and feel the same way as well. As well, George, fellow subscribers to the channel as well. And I'm a bit. Sometimes, hi Stu, how are you, mate? Okay. Sometimes I'm completely fine in a large crowd and whatever, not bothered. Other times, it's exactly as you described, George. You know, I feel the anxiety, like everyone's looking at me and whatever, and they're not, you know, well, I'm tall, so they might be, but there's nothing, you know, going on really, but it's you know, it's in here, but struggle to cope with it. Yeah, love Peter's YouTube. It's great. Sorry I missed your live today as well, Peter. Just he'd get out of work until gone 5, and then had to get a train back from London. So yeah, what does it feel like to be suicidal? Everyone's experienced suicidal feelings is unique to them. And I was again having this conversation with the support group earlier. You know, I say like I'm feeling suicidal. Well, I'm having suicidal thoughts at the moment. I want to make that distinction. For me, feeling suicidal and having suicidal thoughts are different things to me and for me. That doesn't mean it is for other people. That just means for me it is. It says you might feel unable to cope with the enduring difficult feelings you're experiencing. So yeah, and again, I think that comes into feeling like you're not worth it and whatever as well. But you may feel less like you want to die and more like you cannot go on living the life you have. And I've had that as well. And they can fluctuate over time, and it's common to not understand. So they made a nice little table here. Some of the feelings you might experience: hopeless, like there's no point in living. I've had that. I could actually probably tick off all of these, but yeah, I've had that one. Tearful and overwhelmed by negative thoughts. I've had that. And again, I'm not experiencing these two at all at the moment. Unbearable pain you might imagine ending. Yes. Useless, unwanted, or unneeded by others. Yes. And I have got a bit of that to some extent at the moment. Desperate as if you have another choice. Absolutely, yeah. When I was in the grip of me gambling addiction, run out of money. That was the feeling that struck most. Like everyone would be better off without you. Yeah, the first time I experienced suicidal thoughts, I had that. cut off from your body or physically numb. Not something I've experienced myself in this context, but yeah, definitely something to watch out for. And it's a vicious cycle because we end up poor sleep, really waking. I didn't sleep well last night at all, and I was having like nightmares and stuff. Changing appetite, I had that. I didn't eat. Well, weight gain or loss. No desire to take care of yourself without neglecting your physical appearance. I'm bad at doing that, to be honest. Definitely wanting to avoid it. There's self-loathing and low self-esteem. I'm glad that they differentiated that there as well, because I don't hate myself at all. So I have done in the past. I have had that self-loathing. I don't have that anymore. But the self-esteem, yeah, definitely. My self-esteem is not in a good place at the moment. So yeah, the urges to self-harm. I was having that earlier, and I don't self-harm. There's no self-harm here, but I had that urge, which is really odd. So what have we got? Just catch up. Yeah, lack of confidence can definitely be a contributor. Fight for yourself, Pete. Yeah, definitely. George, I feel the same. I know exactly what you mean. Talking about the crowds. Stu is mocking Leanne. It's weird for me as a final large crowd. I've been to London, the big stadiums of concerts. Still prefer smaller crowds as more confident, etc. Yes, BCP. Link away if you want. DBG's got a stern face on. So yeah, how long will I feel suicidal? And that's a big question you have when you got it. Is how it feels like you're always going to feel like that way and whatever, and you're not. They do end. They do stop. Yeah, his comments, I feel as if you'll never be happy or hopeful again. But with support and self-help, a majority of people who have felt suicidal go on to live fulfilling lives. And I'm an example of that, hopefully. I'm one that you can look to in that regard, because, you know, I back in 2012, what are we now, 2019? 7 years ago. God, it's been that long, you know, when I was at my absolute worst with this. And I didn't even know mental health was really a thing or whatever. That's, you know, I was just ignorant of it. Even though my sister was a mental health nurse, brother-in-law was, whatever, I was just ignorant. Really was. And I mean ignorance in terms of I didn't understand it or what it was about. Not ignorance as in how I was treating people or whatever. So, you know, you look at the me, if the me of then looked at the me of now, he wouldn't believe the difference. He would not believe it. He wouldn't think that I could be where I am now. And I've had some real tough challenges and hard times since then, and gone through some real tough experiences since. But I've come out the other side. So, you know, I am proud of that. You know, say proud comes before a fall, but I am. But yeah, the early, you know, someone, now you're feeling, you've got to be able to get support to overcome those feelings, which again comes back to the this is another thing as well. There's this stigma around it, isn't there? There's people who say it's a cry for help or whatever, as if asking for help is a bad thing, or worse, it's just for attention or whatever. No, if somebody's feeling like that, they're feeling like that. It doesn't matter, you know. No, I don't get with that stigma around it. And I think it is really worse as well, because it means that people are too afraid of opening up because they fear they'll be judged. If somebody judges you for opening up, walk away from that person. They're not worth your time. They are not. Find someone who doesn't judge you for it. And you know, it says it can feel difficult to open up to people. Has Tommy got a YouTube channel? Am I not subscribed to Tommy? I don't even know Tommy had a YouTube channel. He's a big fan of it. I keep forgetting. Hang on. How do I? Oh, I can't access links on this. I have to come back to that. Chat.it. Here we go. Can I just say the care I have received at hospital is outstanding. I felt bad going to A&E without a serious physical injury with the bleeding. I have no doubt they were as well, Ian. You know, there's some wonderful people who work in the NHS, to be fair, you know, overstretched as they may be, and the resource, many wonderful people there. Stu is saying, a friend's son jumped in front of a train a couple of years ago. He did suffer with some psychological problems. There's also a drugs element to his behaviour. Really sorry to hear about that, Stu. That's just devastating. And Stu is saying, I lost a dear friend of mine to suicide drinking stupid 7 years ago. We were each other's ride or die. We got drugs together. I'll never ever forgive him. It's difficult situation that to be in, Liam. Difficult. Totally understand, Andrew. 10 years ago, wouldn't have dreamed of being able to get a train anywhere. Talk to new people, go to concerts, be able to have a YouTube channel. Just growing a person proud. Absolutely, Peter. It's been wonderful. And I know people have said this to you before, watching you emerge, I guess, like a butterfly from a cocoon. You're a beautiful butterfly, Peter, flying about now like a butterfly. It's good stuff. It's inspirational stuff, actually, to be fair. It's inspirational. So yeah, you may want others to understand what you're going through. You might feel unable to tell someone, unsure of who to tell, because certainly won't understand, and fearful of being judged. That comes back to what I was saying about the stigma. I'm worried you'll upset them. Yeah, I get that. I really do get that, especially if it's somebody that I've spoken to and they've got upset about something before in the past. That then makes me cautious about engaging with them again, to be honest. So somebody gets upset with me once, it's difficult for me to, it's not that I don't trust him, it's that I'm worried that I'll upset him again. I don't want to do that because I can't deal with it. So I try not to, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does or not. If this is the case, you might find it helpful to show our pages on supporting someone else with suicidal feelings to someone you trust. It's going to be a good way of starting a conversation and can give them suggestions on how they can help you. And there's a story here, sharing that I felt suicidal with close friends, although scary, as I worried they'd be angry, has helped me in subsequent black times. They said they hate to lose me, having not been given a chance to help. And I've had people say that to me before. It's important to remember that you deserve support in big bold letters. You're not alone. There's supporters out there. And then there's a video, which I'm not going to play. So what else have we got here from Mind? I've got a bit about causes of suicidal feelings. I also suffer with, I could have done that so much differently, guilty feelings. I used to have that so badly, George. I had this, I was fixated for years on this one moment, right, where there was a girl that I was, a lady really, that I was completely in love with, but I was 25. I was, didn't know I was autistic at the time or anything. I didn't have a process in place for telling somebody that I have feelings for them or whatever. And then she come up to me one night and told me she was in love with me, and I felt exactly the same, but I froze. I couldn't say anything back. And then it just turned into utter carnage after that. Like, the whole situation just went really, really badly wrong, and it was the trigger actually for me becoming suicidal, etc., back in 2012. But yeah, for years and years and years, I was beating myself up for not just saying back to her how I felt. Maybe that's why I'm so forward now these days. Maybe that's, because I am forward with the ladies, as we know. Maybe it's a reaction to that moment in time. I don't know, but yeah, I had for years this whole thing in my head that if I just said that, I wouldn't have got ill. I wouldn't have been suicidal. Well, thank you, Eddie Doll. And I would have been in a much different and better place than I am now. But I probably wouldn't have been. I was still ill. I didn't realise it. I still had the Asperger's undiagnosed and whatever. It would have been, and she was a nightmare anyway. Really. It's pattern with me with some of the women I like, to be honest. But anyway, we won't go into that. So it's like DBG says. Hindsight is a great thing. The truth is, something else could have gone badly wrong. Anyway, Peter's left a good article here. You'll have to send me a link to that article after. That's okay, Peter. You can't open links on the StreamYard. And yeah, thank you, Eddie Doe. Thank you. So Ian's got a point here. My opinion, many people consider suicide a coward's way out, or you're weak, or you're failure. Until you've been in that situation experience, I don't judge. Yeah, it's it's not a coward's way out. That's not the right way. Why don't you tell her that? But no, honestly, Pat-Man, believe me. Yeah, no, that lady was not the person I thought she was anyway. So yeah, no, I have them. We had that conversation. That was done a long time ago. It was well over it now. I'm just sort of referencing it in terms of what George's how it was. Yeah, God, no, I would not want to go anywhere near that particular human being ever again in my life. Really wouldn't. She was very controlling and very emotionally abusive, as it turned out as well. So yeah, that's why I don't want to go near her again. So yeah, why do I feel suicidal? Suicidal feelings can affect anyone, any age, gender, background, anytime. If you're feeling suicidal, it's likely you've been experiencing a growing sense of hopelessness and worthlessness for some time. I don't always agree with that personally, in my experience. For me, the trigger for me these days, it was originally when I first started experiencing suicidal thoughts, being suicidal, and even further having those plans and whatever, because I did reach that level. And that was those feelings of hopelessness and worthlessness building up that led to it. Nowadays, I don't have those sort of feelings of hopelessness. I still have feelings of worthlessness occasionally. Still struggle with that a bit, but I don't certainly don't feel hopeless or whatever, anything like that. No. These days, for me, what triggers it is a prolonged period of stress. So being under stress for a long time is what brings it to me. So I am under a lot of pressure and stress at the moment. The pressure and stress, a massive amount in work at the moment to deliver stuff. And my housemate just moved out because he moved in with his girlfriend down the road. I hope they have like the best time and life together. Hopefully going to be great for him. But obviously that leaves me in a position where I've got a financial income that I needed that is now gone. And I'm almost out of money for this month already. So I'm reselling like crazy to raise an extra money. But that's adding another layer of stress for me that's sort of interacting with that. I could cope with the high work or the lack of money, but both together is too much for me. It's overwhelming me. So I'm working to resolve both of those things, but that is what is leading to the current bout of suicidal thoughts for me. That and not understanding things. The thoughts would completely consume you sometimes, feeling like you have no control of your body, somebody says. I'll just go back to chat to check if I missed anything. Thanks, Peter. Cheers for that. Sorry, being positive. Chat with you the other day really helped me. Didn't feel so alone. gonna go put my girls to bed, but I definitely watch the rest of this tomorrow. No worries, Rach. You take care. George says, I grew up with a few people around me who have strong Asperger's and autism. It really helped change my mindset and understanding of the world. It is a different view as well. And I think people really struggle with that. So, for example, for me, I will just say it as I say it, if that makes sense. I'm just sort of blunt, direct, to the point. No worries, Pat-Man. Take care. Thanks for watching. What was I saying? So for example, if somebody asks me what's wrong, I say nothing. I mean, nothing. There is nothing wrong. That's it. Other people might say nothing's wrong, but there is. But that's not an autistic thing. If we say there's nothing wrong, there is nothing wrong. That's it, sort of thing. So we don't have that ability, I guess, to answer a question with what would feel the wrong answer, because to me it would be like the wrong answer to give. Find that something happens, something to look forward to really helps. I have a mate coming round tomorrow, which is nice, and seeing 2 mates on Monday, and we meet up some place to it. Excellent. Hey Rod, how are you, mate? You okay? George says, when I had a crash last year, I had that feeling of complete worthlessness, as it was completely my fault. Although it wasn't serious at all, I wanted to give up driving altogether. All crashes in an actual physical crash. I was thinking, crashes in mentally. Sorry, George, misinterpreted there. Driving. I know what you mean. Sometimes you make a mistake or get something wrong, and difficult. You got to take a deep breath and be proactive to reduce your stress and always make your sacrifice. So be it. Yeah. I also talk to you wonderful people and really like it. Hi Rod. Hi Lisa, how are you? And then we a lot of triggers, mental health problems. Well, obviously some anxiety, depression, etc. Bullying or discrimination, domestic abuse, bereavement, the end of a relationship, big trigger. That high stress events, basically. Long-term physical pain or illness, just a big change. Again, high stress events. Money problems, there we go. Or homelessness, isolation or loneliness. I probably do suffer from that as well, to be honest. But I'm also a bit of a loner as well, in terms of, I deliberately do it. Been in prison, so caged, contained, being inadequate or failure, losing a loved one to suicide can also trigger suicidal thoughts in others. Addiction or substance abuse, which, as David G mentioned earlier, pregnancy, childbirth, or postnatal depression, cultural pressure, doubts about sexual, a lot of things basically. If you are unsure of why you feel suicidal, you may find it even harder to believe there could be a solution. Whatever the reason, there is support available, and part of that support can help you work out what that reason is. And medication can do it. The medication you take to feel better and not get them can cause it as well. So, always check on that. And there are some groups that are more at risk of suicide as well, particularly men and people in the LGBTQ community, apparently. It's not clear why more men than women commit suicide. I've always viewed it as a cultural thing. As men, we have less, we're talking less about emotions and how we're feeling about things, and therefore we don't have that ability to talk when we're feeling suicidal and reach out, perhaps, maybe, which I guess is where that can people come in. And then LGBTQ, obviously, a lot of discrimination, bullying, homophobia, biphobia. Society is not as accepting of difference, or even that. Should I say difference? I don't even think I should actually. Society is just not as accepting as it should be. Full stop. Let's leave it at that. But treatment and support is available. Oh, no worries, Peter. Take care. Sue says, coming up to 12 years since I walked out of a very well-paid but incredibly stressful job. One more year, and I think I would have really suffered out mentally. Walking out was one of the best things I ever did. Just sounds like it was a great move. And then George says, say everything as it is. Do not believe in beating around the bush. I have also a cynical viewpoint on everything, but I struggle with my personality being interpreted as miserable. I just take the mick out of you anyway, George. Obviously in a humorous way. I just find the best way to do that. A bit of banter. So I've done. Say hello to people. George say it like this, since it's got to be cruel. You can't speak from my own experiences. Sometimes though, there's a time and a place as well. I would say on that. I don't think it's always necessary to do that. Sometimes there's a way to get a message across, perhaps. So where can we get support? Again, GP, as we talked about, who can refer you to appropriate counselling, etc. What they call talking treatments, medication as well, which can help increase your serotonin levels. We've talked about that in the past. Crisis services as well. Every area, certainly in the UK, is served by a mental health crisis team who can help and support you. And then the telephone services, peer support, which is what I try and encourage with the Money Mental Support Group. So yeah, some other options there. Help yourself now, though. This is important. Let's look at this. This is important stuff. How can I cope right now? 3 areas. Get safe right now. Distract yourself and challenge your thinking. So I know I've had feedback before because I always talk about distraction as being a viable thing, and people disagreed on that. I go after the information that is given by people far better than me this year. Get safe right now. Get through the next 5 minutes. Taking things minute by minute can be more bearable. Reward yourself every 5 minutes that pass. Go to our urgent help pages for practical ideas you can do. Remove anything you can. So again, it's getting safe. Remove anything you can use to harm yourself or ask someone to remove him. Or if you're in an unsafe location, like me having suicidal thoughts, being sat at the train station with trains coming past 120 miles an hour, not necessarily what we would call a safe location. If you have a safety plan or a crisis plan, follow it and tell someone how you're feeling. I always do that. I always tell someone how I'm feeling. Always. It's not about sugarcoating. It's about, I find, we've had this conversation before. It's about helping others realise what they should already know in it. And sometimes the direct approach works, and sometimes they need a different approach, don't they? They need to be coaxed and encouraged towards a conclusion themselves. Might take a bit longer than we would like, but they usually get there. Men still have the breadwinner stigma attached to them, if you know what that is. Yeah. Especially the man is traditionally held responsible for the household, and men not menstrual weakness. Yeah, society doesn't help messes up, does it? Distract yourself. So if you're thinking of how you find some self-calm coping techniques to work for you, such as holding an ice cube. Yeah, I'm really bad at these. Ice cube until it melts. Focus. So I call it feels. I'm really bad at just focusing on one thing. Tearing something into hundreds of pieces, or take a very cold shower or bath. So I do like having a bath and whatever. But my problem I had was then, like, I was thinking, I'm in the bath, I'm thinking, oh, this is a place where people slit their wrists. That's brilliant, isn't it? So then straight away I'm thinking about that. So, yeah, maybe not always the best. This is all about mindfulness, focusing on your senses, taking time to think I'm bad at mindfulness. It just doesn't work for me. I know lots of people who swear by it find that hard to believe. Mindfulness just does not work for me. Doesn't mean it won't work for you. Doesn't mean it doesn't work for many people. It means for me as a person, it don't work. But definitely try it if you are struggling and finding things, because it works and helps so many people. It really does. So, but if it doesn't work for you, by the same token, also don't think you're alone in it not working for you, because it don't work for me either. Steady your breathing, look after your needs. Again, avoid taking drugs or drinking alcohol. Get a glass of water, eat something, sit somewhere comfortable, write down how you feel. Writing helps me sometimes, helps me wrestle my thoughts. And getting outside, that definitely helps me as well. Being out and about and then reaching out, I swear by that. And this is a quote again from somebody: sometimes it's just about survival and focusing on something that's real until the feelings can become easier to deal with. Challenge your thoughts. Make a deal with yourself that you won't act today. Plan to get support if you're not already getting support. Find your reasons to live. You may feel the world will be better off without you. There's no point in living, but it's never the case. And I agree, it's not. The world is a much sadder place. Hey, Double Karma, welcome. World is a much sadder place. Every person that is lost to suicide is a loss to the world. Write down what you're looking forward to, which relates to what Peter was saying earlier before he had to leave. About he's looking forward to meeting his friends tomorrow, and I think he's meeting 2 friends later on as well in a week that he's looking forward to, and of course his meetup that he's got down in Epsom he's looking forward to. I think I'm probably gonna miss out. I don't think I can afford to get there, but it's I hope it goes well for him. Or even as simple as eating your favourite meal, seeing someone, or watching the next episode of a TV show. I love finding a new TV show that I've not come across before and getting into that. And I make plans to do something you enjoy tomorrow in the near future. Don't have to be big or expensive. Could be walking around the park, something like that. And think about the people you love, no matter how bad you're feeling. It's important to remember that these people will miss you. And I hope we all have somebody that we care about. And be kind to yourself. Talk to yourself as if you're talking to a good friend. Do whatever you think you might help to get you past those thoughts. Art can be a great help. A bit of painting or photography can really take you away from life's unpleasantness. So again, which sort of links into having a hobby to distract yourself with. Tell yourself you can get through this. At times we concentrate on the negatives we tell ourselves and lose help. Repeating to yourself that you could get past these feelings can help you regain hope and focus on getting through it. Longer term, what we got? How can I cope in the future? If you experience suicidal feelings in the past or still feeling low now, you may be worried these feelings might return or get worse. And that can be a self-fulfilling prophecy as well. Worrying about something can lead to it, can increase the chances of it happening for whatever reason it does. But there are steps you can take to look after and improve your general well-being when you're feeling low. Make a safety plan, recognising your warning signs, details of your own coping strategies, what's out there in the past, what you do now, names and contact details of loved ones or telephone support services out your crisis, the professionals you can contact, and steps to make your environment safe and a safe place you can go to if you need. And again, somebody sharing their experiences here. I tried to plan for feeling really bad, knowing that I could become incapable of controlling my feelings for a while. It hurts to not trust yourself, but it does pass, and I'm so glad to be here still. That's really, I am so glad to be here still. That says it all to me, really. Hey, Steve, how are you? You all right? We're talking about suicide. Because I'm feeling suicidal. Well, no, I'm not feeling suicidal. I'm having suicidal thoughts. I've been for a couple of days. So you meet Steve, and that's it. I'm only joking. Learn to manage difficult feelings. Take each day at a time. And this is something I do now. I never used to. It took me a long time to get to a position where I could do this. I was always a planner. I was always planning, what am I going to be doing next month? what am I going to be doing 6 months from now? What am I doing 5 years from now? I've always got to have something that I'm going to be doing, that I'm going to be working towards, and whatever. I don't do that anymore because I realised for me, again, me personally, that was giving me more chain or whip to beat myself with. Because if I didn't then do one of those things I'd planned for, I'd beat myself up for not doing it, which would then make me feel worse. And so I don't do that anymore. I do just take each day as a time. I don't mean I don't plan to do things like go and meet friends or whatever. Obviously, I do that, but I don't try and set myself any ridiculous long term aims that I'm going to be disappointed if I don't meet. I don't. I just don't see the need for it anymore. I'm happy to get through a day. I'm all right. I'm good. And developing coping strategies that work for you. So we talked about mood juice, mindfulness, etc. And allow yourself to feel your feelings. Suppressing your ads Robinson ads, great chap. Subscribe to this channel. I'm always all right, Steve. Don't worry about me. Allow yourself to feel your feelings. Ads talks about not suppressing his feelings and how he accepts his feelings when they happen, and that's reflected here. Think about what caused you to feel suicidal and share this with those supporting you. So we've talked about that here now. What is sort of triggered me. Do I know when Peter's meetup is? It's in the if you go to the events tab on Facebook in the Money Mental reselling group, George, great plug there for my Facebook group for resellers. Peter's popped it on there. I think it's the 24th of August. I could be wrong. Hi, Jasmine, and welcome. Good to have you with us. So yeah, make a happy box full of box of memories and items that can provide comfort and help lift your mood when you feel down. Box container if it is meaningful, helpful to yourself or favorite. So this is not very good for me personally because although I get accused of being a hoarder and whatever, I'm not attached to any of this stuff. I'm just really bad at listing it. It can go tomorrow. I'm not bothered. I don't get attached to things. I get attached to people, to an excessive degree sometimes, which is bad for me. But I don't really get attached to things. Learn your triggers, and again, as I talked about, for me, I know now that my trigger is being under high levels of stress. I'm under high levels of stress, different from different sources. That's my trigger. Or if I'm going for a particularly turbulent time with someone I'm close to, or have feelings with or for, that can trigger me as well because I don't have a process in my head for dealing with that either. Don't blame yourself. Definitely. Many people have tried to thought about taking it, feel guilty afterwards, especially if they worry loved ones. Just try to set that's how you're feeling. Yeah, I don't blame myself for feeling like that. I don't. Value yourself. Write a letter to yourself. Include out your memories and mention the people who love and care about you. It's helpful to read in your experiences. Well, my problem is people change as well. I have lots of people I've been friends with for like most of my adult life, and that's good. But I also have groups and they change and things move about. And so who I would have spoken to 2 years ago isn't necessarily who I'd speak to now. So I struggle with that because I'd be reading about people and I'm like, oh, they're no longer around anymore. That's sad. But again, making plans, building your self-esteem. I need to have a look at that, actually. I need to have a look at that. Celebrate yourself, write down your achievements. I do encourage people to do this. I've sold some stuff on eBay today. That's an achievement for me. And do things just for yourself. And then connecting to other people again. Letting us know how you're feeling to get a common theme, seeking support, common theme, volunteer. I used to do that. I don't do that anymore. I don't. It interferes with the car boots, but perhaps I need to go back and do a bit more of that. And again, peer support. So yeah, again, getting enough sleep. I've slightly not had enough sleep the last few days. Avoiding drugs and alcohol, and so I'm off the booze at the minute. I don't do drugs anyway. Never have. Eating well, yeah, bad at that. Bad at that. I nearly went for KFC last night, and actually I thought, no, it's not healthy. I ordered fish and chips for lunch, so I had a pizza. I don't know if a pizza is healthy or not, but it's got to be healthier than a KFC. So anyway, I think we've had a good discussion there. We've got right, unsubbed bitch. Okay, right. Have I got any spanners in at the minute? Because I can't be dealing with this. This fool. Come on, one of me spanners. Get rid of this one. People make the effort for Peter. He deserves it, definitely. Have I got a reselling group? Yeah. You was in it for an hour. KFC hot wings are banging. Yes, I do like the KFC hot wings. Links to Peter's meetup video on the 24th. Thank you for that. Dropping out BCP. Yeah, definitely. If we can get a Peter's meetup, that'll be good. If we come out on my screen, I think it's because I'm using StreamYard. It probably retains the comments even after they've been deleted, which is annoying. Because I do get trolled a lot. Never mind. Anyway, it happens. Yeah, KFC hot wings. I'll tell you what I like is can't see most of the chat. That's probably because you need to open both your eyes, Steve. No, I'm joking. I got deleted straight away. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no, it's obviously this StreamYard. There's obviously then a downside there. I might need to think about. I don't. If I'm not having a mental health live, it don't matter. I'm not bothered. If I'm doing a mental health live, it gets to me a bit. Never mind. Anyway. So yeah. Hopefully, people will be able to watch this. It'll help in the future. You know, the resources are out there. Information's there online. It's just being able to talk about it. Just being able to say those words. I'm feeling suicidal at the moment. It's hard to do that, and it's hard to keep saying it actually as well, and to say that it's okay to feel like that as well, and it's okay to talk about it. And anyone feels like that, please message me as well. God knows whether I could be any help or do anything for you, but my inbox is there on the Facebook. I'm there on the Instagram again. Although I have a hateful relationship with Instagram sometimes, but please do reach out. Do definitely reach out. If that's not to me, just to somebody. Because nobody should have to go through that kind of thing alone. So anyway, yeah, never understand it. Chin up is not an expression I understand at all. Did not understand that one. I'll rephrase that. I know it means sort of like keep on going and things will get better and whatever. I don't understand that. Where does it come from? The chin up bit is very strange. But yeah, I like the hot shot. I do not do those anymore. I've not seen those for a while. Ignore the crappy comments, bunch of cheers from it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just bad timing that one, but yeah, never mind anyway. So yeah, thanks for watching everyone anyway. As I say, hopefully I hope this conversation discussion will help others. And yeah, the internet is your friend as well. So yeah, thanks for watching everyone. I'm gonna head off. Let's press the stop sharing, so I'm back. There you go. I'm gonna catch up on my messages, try and parcel a few things up ready for the morning as well. So yeah, cheers everyone. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay beautiful. Take care.